Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first edition of ZA Monthly. The first episode is going to be taking a look back at the month of August, and I know that this is going up on at the very beginning of September, and I'm going to try to for the next installment make it so that it's always posted at the very last day of the month, or at least at close to the end of the month. Obviously, so people have time, I have time to see as many posts from that month as possible. So yeah, that's why we're doing them at the end of the month, because it wouldn't make much sense to do it at the beginning when you haven't seen posts for that month yet. Alrighty, so to start off with, since this is the first episode, I'll give a little bit of an explanation. Also, thank you to everyone who voted on Zelda Amino in favor of me doing this little series. There was a nice amount of feedback, and I want to thank everybody who voted on that poll, if anyone even remembers at this point. But I just want to say, so for this series, we're going to be taking a look at a few different posts, and I'm going to be trying to do a variety, so it's not just going to be art, and it's not just going to be writing. I'm going to try to find a few posts each month that are art and a mix of art and writing. And when it comes to writing, I'm going to try to get short stories and stuff like that, like fan fiction, anything like that I find interesting, as well as like opinion pieces are also up for that too. So nothing's really excluded. If I think it's interesting enough and I want to talk about it, I'll do it. Doesn't matter what type of writing it is or what type of art. So first up, I do happen to have more art this time. I know, shocking, but we have two written pieces to take a look at and three art posts, and then at the very end we will be doing Member of the Month, and that's going to be more broad, obviously, because there's just so many good people on Zelda Amino. It's kind of random to me, in my eyes at least. I basically picked someone who I just thought would be neat to talk about, someone who's really active in the community. So for the first post we're going to be taking a brief look at is called From Within the Sanctuary, and it's by one of the staff, Brett. And what made me want to talk about this was it's a written piece from the view of Islo from Minish Cap. And what I liked about it first off was that, there's a lot of written pieces and like poetry and stuff from like the thoughts of a lot of Breath of the Wild characters right now, which obviously makes sense since it's so that was the last Zelda game that came out and it's still very popular, and so obviously a lot of writing is going to be about them, and there's so much material there to work with too. But it was neat to see a piece like this that's about a character that maybe isn't talked about in this way as much. And basically what the piece is about is from Islo's point of view after he has to go back to the Minish world and everything, and after, the events of Minish Cap. And it's basically him thinking about Link, and it's just a very nice piece, and like some of my favorite parts in it, is when he's questioning, if Link will be able to have a normal life after the events of Minish Cap. Will he be able to just go back and be a normal kid, and did his childhood get ruined because of this big adventure he had to go on? And the overall tone of the piece is just Islo talking about how he views Link as a friend and how meaningful their adventure was. And it overall was just a really nice piece, and it was neat to see something, again, from a character that isn't talked about a lot, and I just really liked it. And also, I replayed Minish Cap not that long ago, so it was even more neat to read something like that. Next, we have more of an opinion piece from Wendy, which is entitled, Tetra is the best Zelda, and here's why. Now, the main reason I like this piece is it was worded very well. I like it when opinion pieces, are worded. Obviously, anyone, prefers an opinion piece to be worded well, and there was a lot of good points in it, too. And it really did, because I've always liked Wind Waker Zelda. As Wendy said in his piece, he doesn't really hate any of the Zeldas, and I'm kind of in the same boat. There's no version of Zelda that I hate, and there's all different reasons that I like them. But it really got me thinking that, Tetra is actually the only Zelda in the series that really has a completely separate identity from Zelda. And obviously you have Skyward Sword Zelda, who has a separate life, except you know, knowing that she's Zelda and everything. I mean, she's named Zelda and everything, but she still has a more separate life. But Tetra kind of takes it a little bit further because, you know, she has the whole pre-existing, you know, like, identity. She doesn't know anything about her being Zelda and stuff like that until later in the game. And part of it that's neat is, like, you know, even after she finds out she's Zelda and everything, it doesn't exactly change who she is. And, you know, Zelda becomes a part of her. And, you know, they're kind of, you know, two sides of the same coin, if you will. But it's just really neat to see a version of Zelda that is, more has their own life. And, you know, obviously she has the whole pirate thing going on. And, you know, she has a whole crew, she has a whole ship, you know, and, like, obviously other Zeldas, you know, they have a whole kingdom that respects them and stuff. And that might seem to pale in comparison to you just having, like, a crew or something, but it is really neat that Tetra seems to be so young and everything, but has this, you know, this crew and everything that respects her, and she just has this whole separate life. So that was something that I thought was neat about that. And there was a lot of good points in there too, and that I agree with, but that was like the main thing that I wanted to share about it, because it made me think about that, you know, that she really does have that going for her from different Zeldas in the series. Next we're going to be getting into our art posts. And the first one I have is from her username is in like Japanese right now, but I know she goes by Mimi. She did a really pretty piece of the it's called the blog itself was titled The Skull Kids Remake, and it was her remaking an old drawing that she did of both the more relevant Skull Kids from the series. It was the obviously one from Majora's Mask, and then the one from Twilight Princess. And the difference between them, if you go see, is very very astounding. It's the old one, while really good, you know, it was a different tone altogether. It was much darker colors, and the pose was different, such like that. And the new one was really nice. It had these great bright colors that, although obviously brighter than what is in the games, it worked really well. It looked very good. The line art was very crisp and looked very clean. And overall, it's just a really pleasing piece to look at, and it was one that really stood out to me. So yeah, great job on that, Mimi, and I loved the. It makes me want to do an art remake sometime. I just haven't done it yet. Next we have the blog was entitled Rudo Request by user Courage of Awesome, and I just really love this piece, not only because you don't see much art of Rudo, or even like Lulu from Majora's Mask. You know, obviously we see a lot of Mifa right now because, like I said at the beginning, you know, Breath of the Wild is still high in popularity with it being the most recent Zelda game. But I just really loved this drawing too, and it has such amazing texture. It's probably, no joke, one of the best, like, uses of technique to, like, make the texture of, like, the skin of Azora, and the lighting on it is fantastic, and the water looks very nice. You could see the surface looks really good, and the gradient color, you know, showing the depth of the water looks very nice. Also, the face and body was drawn very well. Like, the face looks very, very good compared to the how she looks originally. I think the only thing that I could, like, I know that with the legs, it's supposed to be the from the knee down. It seems like her legs are supposed to be pushed, you know, like they're in the background. You know, she's got them at a different angle. That was the only thing that I could say could maybe be improved, is just the legs being a teeny bit longer. But other than that, it was just an amazing piece of art, and I love it. And like the fins, the arms, everything like looked really great. And that's the only piece of advice I could give to Courage of Awesome. But that could just be me too. That was the only thing I happened to notice. Finally, in matters of posts, we have from user Rito Yuu. It was entitled Breath of the Wild Mushroom Sheet. And what I liked about this post, it's very simplistic, but very effective. They included a lot of different angles, and it is traditional art, of course. It's done with watercolor, and I believe they said a white gel pen and a couple other things, but it's just very nice, and it's supposed to be done in a style of like a scientific kind of like sheet that just showed the different mushrooms in Breath of the Wild, and obviously they said in there that it wasn't everyone, of course, but just four that they wanted to do. But they look very nice. I love how the watercolor looks with it, and overall it was just a pleasing post, and I really wanted to include it in this just because it was a very well done post, and I hope to see like oh, and even in one of the pictures it looked as if like they had like some mushrooms off to the side. Like, I don't know, I think they were fake, I'm not sure, but it looked really neat. There was like, I think in one of the final pictures they had some stuff off to the side in the picture. It looked really, it was just aesthetically pleasing. So finally, we're going to be taking a look at the user of the month, and for my first part I wanted to give user of the month to Gabi. She's someone who's really active in the community, and she does a lot. And obviously, you know, like, there's so many people on Zelda Amino who lead a lot of different groups and are really active in a lot of different groups. And there's so many people that I could, you know, do for this. It was just, I'm in a few of, I might be a bit biased because I am in a few of Gabi's, like, groups that she leads. But that's also why I wanted to include her in this, because, you know, I've seen firsthand how good she does as leader. Of many groups. So first off, she's the leader of the Kakariko Chronicles, which is a monthly magazine. She's also the book club leader, which I recently joined, and it's been a lot of fun so far, and she does a great job at that. She's the Secret Zelda co-leader. She writes for the Hyrule Times, which again is a magazine. And she's also the Writers Guild co-leader, as well as the Paya's Poetry Club leader. And I know there's probably even more people that lead even more than that, but it wasn't necessarily because of that. I just think she's really fun to talk to, and if you haven't had the chance yet, I highly recommend seeking her out. She's a very nice person, and she does a great job, and she's very active around the community and such. And so I think that that'll about wrap us up for this month's episode. If you have any suggestions for like user of the month, because obviously I don't want it to just be my opinion, you know, stuff like that. I mean, I know, for example, with Gabi, there's a lot of people like her and stuff, so there's a lot of people that would agree with that. But if you know anyone that you, because obviously I don't have eyes everywhere, you know, maybe someone's done something really great for that month, and I happen to not see it. If you see someone that does something really great and you think they deserve being mentioned, feel free to private message me and let me know, and I will definitely take it into consideration. But yeah, it'd be great to get some like more feedback on this. Of course, you feel free to comment here on the YouTube video, or feel free to comment over on Zelda Amino itself, because I'll be obviously doing a post for these videos once a month. And but finally, I also want to say, because people, you know I'm on the staff, this is in no way trying to replace the Monday Spotlight or anything like that, because obviously that's a weekly thing. But this was just something fun I wanted to do, because, like I said in my poll that I did, you know, I just have so much fun on Zelda Amino, and I wanted to do something fun to give back to people. So this is mainly just for fun. It's not a competitive thing. It's not anything like that. It's just me seeing posts that I like and wanting to give recognition and talk about, and like, you know, if I see something that I feel is that I can talk about and not sound like an idiot. So yeah, that should wrap us up for this month's video. Thank you all for checking this out, and I hope to see you guys back next time for September. Bye!